back to another episode of Your Wichita Falls, where we talk about all things Wichita Falls. And I'm Debbie Dobbins, your host. And today I want to talk about the top 10 housing markets for buyers in 2026. So stay tuned because we're getting started right now. Welcome back. This is Debbie, and this is really interesting because the Association of Realtors, a national organization that they take in all kinds of statistics and then they come up with their own version of something. So they just released their top 10 housing markets for buyers for 2026. Now, Wichita Falls wasn't on that list. And so I'm going to explain to you in this video why I think they are dead wrong. You see, there's something that they're not telling you about their top 10 list. And you can go on their website and look at all the reasons and how their list was generated. And if Wichita Falls is even remotely on your radar, this is where you want to grab my free Wichita Falls relocation guide. The link is in the body so that you can follow along with some of the things that I might share in this video or some of the other videos on this channel at Wichita Falls. But the National Association of Realtors released this list of the top 10 housing markets for buyers, especially they were referencing first-time buyers. And here's what made the list. Let me tell you some of the locations that made the list. Rochester, New York, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Granite City, Illinois, Birmingham, Alabama, North Little Rock, Arkansas, which one of our neighbors right here, Syracuse, New York, Baltimore, Maryland, St. Louis Park, Minnesota, which I'm not sure I want to move to Minnesota right now, Pittsburgh, PA, Garfield Heights, Ohio. Now, here's the thing that I want to share with you about all those cities because they have median incomes on those houses that range from 120,000 to up to 375,000. I'm not sure what first-time home buyer really is going to buy a $375,000 house unless they have a really well-paying occupation. But, on the surface, these prices look appealing, especially in the lower brackets, especially if you're trying to buy your first home. But price alone is not, I repeat, not the full cost of home ownership. And here's where it gets good. This is what they are not telling you, and why I believe, and have believed for quite some time, that Wichita Falls should have made the list all the time, but more importantly, why it's the best place in the United States to buy a home right now. And there's plenty of reasons on this channel, so please review some of the great videos that I have about Wichita Falls. If you ever want to get a little help running the numbers I'm going to talk to you about, not just the list prices, there's a Zoom link also in the body of this to connect with me so that we can have a little chat. So what this list did not say is that every single one of those markets that I just shared has a few things in common. Number one, state income tax. Being a transplant from Southern California, I know that income taxes will really hurt you in the long run, especially if you want to be a homeowner. And that's not something that you can get away from with buying a house because it's based on the state that you live in. These places also have lots of traffic and congestion, which, if you watch any of my videos, I'm a big fan of no traffic and congestion, which is what we have in Wichita Falls. They also have higher insurance costs. You didn't notice any of the cities on that list were in California. They have the highest insurance costs, property home insurance, of any state in the union, and fewer property tax exemptions, these cities that I named. So, what does that mean to you? Those costs don't show up in a headline, but they show up every single month in your budget. So, let's talk about Texas and particularly Wichita Falls. Because, as I've said many times, Wichita Falls is a first time buyer sweet spot, or retirement buyer, or second or third or fourth time buyer. It doesn't matter. Here's what you get here that most of those top 10 cities cannot offer. As I said, no income tax. Holy guacamole. That's real money back in your pocket every year, every month. It's felt every month when you're making your mortgage payment. This is so important when you buy your first home and just starting on this home ownership journey. Texas property tax exemptions. I love our state because of these homestead exemptions or an over 65 exemption because I'm over 65 and veterans exemptions. Literally, you could pay no property taxes if you got 100% disability as a veteran. Why wouldn't you want to come here? All of these dramatically reduce your taxable value in ways all these other states just simply don't. What's really cool about the homestead exemption here is they just raised it a few months ago again to $100,000. So what does that mean? You have a $200,000 purchase of a property that's valued at 200,000 and you get to take $100,000 of that value right off the top because of the homestead exemption. You have to live in it. So now you're calculating that tax rate on $100,000 instead of $200,000, which is so beautiful for Wichita Falls because we have the lowest median property values that any other city in Texas. So you're sitting on a gold mine just by moving to Wichita Falls. That's why I go on and on and on and gush about it all the time. We also have reasonable property insurance, which if you live in Florida, the insurance, you got way expensive property insurance. And I love Florida, but because of hurricanes, California, fires, floods, compared to coastal or high density metropolitan areas, the insurance costs here are far more manageable. This is what's so beautiful. And of course, we don't have any gridlock because time is money. And not spending hours in traffic is a quality of life upgrade for most buyers. And they underestimate it because they're so used to being in that gridlock, screaming and yelling. And if you're relocating or even just comparing cities, this relocation guide that you can get the link in the body of this video breaks all of this down in plain English. So the link is in the body of this video. So why does this matter? Even more for first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers don't just need a cheap house. They need a sustainable payment. And in buyer-friendly markets like beautiful Wichita Falls, first-time home buyers really experience less competition, more negotiating power, because when we were in the crazy COVID time and the unicorn years, it was easier to be competitive here than even up to Dallas. Fewer bidding wars because we're heading into another moment like that with the interest rates coming down and clearer paths to getting an offer accepted. That's what turns maybe someday into this actually works. And if you're wondering what your buying power looks like here, just book a quick Zoom call with me. The link is in the body of this. No pressure, just clarity, because this is what makes us have the ability to make the best decisions. And about those rankings, that top 10 list is just a snapshot. It's not a strategy. They don't know when they make these top 10 lists your commute tolerance, your tax bracket, your overall insurance costs, or more importantly, your lifestyle preference. And that's why national lists are very interesting, but local expertise is everything. A buyer in a buyer friendly market still needs guidance. A buyer in a competitive market needs strategy. And either way, guessing your costs, not a good idea. So all my contact info is in the description. Reach out if you want a local perspective, not just national headlines. Because the bottom line always is this 2026 housing market isn't one market. It's so many around the country. And yeah, national lists highlight affordability, sort of, but Wichita Falls quietly delivers affordability, always has, plus livability, tax advantages, and more important, breathing room. Because if you're a first time buyer who wants options, not stress, this is a market worth serious consideration. So grab my beautiful Wichita Falls relocation guide in the body of the video or connect with me directly for a Zoom call. Thanks for watching this episode of Your Wichita Falls. And as I always say, y'all come back now. Here?